Hey, and welcome to Bench Dogs.
Hey!
Today you're going to see how I cut my head using a table saw. You're going to see Brucey enjoy some cigarettes. And when it's all done, you're going to see how we made this beautiful dining room table using recycled plywood. It's all coming up next on Bench Dogs. Ready, Brucey?
You got it.
Let's go.
The C and the D are one-sided.
Yeah, great. Another piece of art. We'll use that for something. Yeah, that's not cute. For a while now, I've been telling Bruce about this idea I had for a table. I want to make a really big table, and I want it to be made out of recycled wood, preferably old 2x4s. And we started drawing up designs and just talking about different ideas, and we were ready to go, but we just couldn't find the wood that I wanted in order to make the right size table that I had in mind. So then Bruce got a job from one of his friends building shelves in a record store. And he asked me to come down one day and help him out. So we were just cutting endless strips of plywood, it seemed, to make dozens and dozens of shelves in this big warehouse. And we were looking at this scrap plywood, and Bruce said, hey, you know, what would stop us from just taking a bunch of these scraps and gluing them together to make your tabletop? And I thought, well, the only thing stopping us is it would be really labor intensive, it would be a huge pain in the ass, it would be messy, and I'd probably have to do it in several different locations because I really don't have the room to do it in any one spot. We thought, great, let's give it a try. So we took all the scrap plywood from that job, bagged it up, took it over to Bruce's shop, and here's what happened. Okay, here we are. Got our wood pieces in the shop, and we're going to start cutting these. Brucey already had some of these cut at 1.5 inches. We'll set the fence so that we're going to cut a perfect 1.5 inch width.
Normally what I do is put it right in the middle. Yeah, exactly. And lay it flat as I can.
There we go. Wouldn't be a Bench Dog video without Bruce reprimanding me for something at some point.
Let me make this.
How's that, Dad?
It's great.
Is that good enough?
Perfectly clear. I have an education in teaching, and that's what I am doing. I will never reprimand you, Peter.
I have an education in screwing up, so we're a great match.
You have.
Okay.
That might still be too tight. Okay, man. Tell us your tragedy.
This is why you wear eye protection. Fed that thing through. Look at that. There was a screw in there. I was feeding it through like so. Bam! Hit me right there. You see that?
Look at that. Right at the hairline. The bottom and the side. That's just disgusting. That's just disgusing. Look at it. I think he's going to take that home and mount it. He's going to put that on a wall. That's why I let him be behind the saw. I'm just receiving the wood.
All right, how many cuts was that?
I was just kidding, but 492 is what I said. There's a lot of pieces of wood here. 6 foot of it anyway.
We decided to lay them out and just see how much we have.
You're really just checking my calculations.
This is a hollow corridor, which has a nice smooth masonite finish, so we can lay these things down and
glue on them.
Just see how much material we got to work with here. It looks like we're going to be pretty close. Laying it out like this. This is 36 inches we've got right here. I think 40. 40 is a good width. You can reach out there. You're not getting in each other's face.
That's 40 with the edging.
Yeah, with the edging.
How thick is the edging going to be?
1.5. 2x4s.
Okay.
So, and that doesn't have to be exact. I don't want to make it 8 feet because I want to have room to assemble it. So I'm going to make 90 inches. 90 by 40, that's going to be the table. But I know it's a lot smaller than I thought. So, this is going to do a little change of plans on the fly. I'm going to sort of combine two projects. I recently did a demo job in someone's office and I recycled a bunch of 2x4s. And I don't have any full lengths. So what I think I'll do is the same thing with 2x4s and just kind of mix them in here. So first thing I'm going to do is trim off these ends here because we don't want this crap with the nail holes in there. So I'm going to trim off the ends so that they're all, pretty square and salvageable. Then we're going to run them through the planer / jointer that Bruce has manufactured. And then lastly, we'll put them through the table saw to cut them to the same thickness as the other pieces that we cut. So first thing I'm going to do is just trim off all these junky ends in the chop saw. And that's all. So we got a decent piece of wood to work with.
Look at that end grain.
This is called milling, by the way.
Okay.
We're going to put a nice flat edge on this thing. So Cousin Brucey has his homemade jointer. See, if you were to buy this machine, see this has a rotating blade here. It goes like so. And that blade sticks up just above the plane. So when that blade is rotating, and you stick the piece of wood through there, see, that's going to catch, and it's just going to cut the edge off of that thing. So when you run a rounded piece of wood through there a few times, it starts out like that, and it finishes up like that. Now, and see how Cousin Brucey has taken an old planer and mounted it upside down so that we can run these things through here and put a nice straight edge on them.
Have we taken off the round over completely, or is it still?
So now we've got a pretty good flat edge there. This one might have to be run through again.
Yeah,
but
I would say so.
Depending on the board, probably 4 or 5 passes through.
Depending on how deep you've got the cut set.
Yeah, and then we'll have a nice flat edge. So,
action.
and we've got a good flat edge on each one of these boards. On each one of these boards.
Okay.
This is our piece of plywood that we're going to construct our tabletop out of.
One of the many.
So we want the 2x4 to be the same size as this. So we've got to cut this 2x4 right here. So we'll set up the table saw.
Look at that.
So now the reason why we only have one flat side on the board is because this is the side that's going to sit against the fence. So when we run that through, when we're done, we'll have 2 flat sides and it'll be a nice square. Now, as you can see, we've got a nice square piece of wood. That's the same size as our plywood, so when we glue those up together, they're going to look beautiful. And remember, we're using these pieces of 2x4 because we didn't have enough of the plywood to make the size table that I wanted. We're just going to add them when we glue up the table. We're going to add them randomly, or perhaps in a pattern, just enough so that they give us the right size table that we want. The boards are cut, they're milled and ready to add to the table.
Well, there you go. Here they are. Let's look at them up close. Ooh, how pretty.
Yeah, it's going to look cool.
Yeah, very
Different
nice.
grains. I'm going to take them into the assembly room and start putting this tabletop together. See what we come up with.